ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Dear friends, we are in this Kathopanishad, second adhyaya, second valli, and seventh mantra. Seventh mantra, that is Yoni manye prapadyante sharirattvaya dehinaha sthanu manyenu sanyanti yatha karma yatha shrutam. We just read this mantra in the last class. I just explained the word to word meaning. We have to only commence the bhashya. The context is about the guhyam brahma sanatanam yatha cha maranam prapya atma bhavati gautama. What happens to this atma? What happens to this self? Atma means the self. What happens to this self after the body falls? So that is the context. And after the body falls, what happens? That is told in this seventh mantra. Yoni manye prapadyante. Some people they enter the womb of a female, sharirattvaya, in order to embody themselves, in order to get a body for themselves. And some others, sthanam anusanyanti, they become other immovable things. Immovable things means like trees and plants and all these things, like all that, they take birth. Then yatha karma yatha shrutam, that is depending on their karma, depending on their shruti. Yatha shrutam means depending on their level of awareness, depending on their level of understanding. So that is yatha shrutam. Depending on their level of spiritual progress. So that is, it all depends on that. So the Upanishads mainly talk about two paths which we have to know at this stage. In fact, that we are going to get in the Gita also, Gita Bhashyam also. We are now seeing the 8th adhyaya. In the 8th adhyaya, in the coming shlokas, we have come up to about 10th or 12th shloka. In the next few more shlokas, we are going to see the two paths which the Upanishads are saying. About two paths means two paths which the self takes after the body falls. So there is a path called Devayana. Devayana means the path of the gods. Then there is another path called the path of the forefathers, Pitruyana. Pitru means the forefathers, the dead, the people who are dead and gone, and then the people who are said to be in several lokas and whatnot. So there is what is called Devayana, there is what is called Pitruyana. The path of the gods one attains when one does this Sagunopasana. In what is this Ishavasya Upanishad, we have seen what is called Karma Upasana Samuchaya. Vidyamcha Vidyamcha Yastadvedo Bhayagam Saha. We saw that in that Kathopanishad mantra, Ishavasya Upanishad mantra. So there, that combination of karma and upasana, it was recommended rather. If you do only karma, you are only going to get this Pitruyana. But if you combine it with this upasana, you are going to the next stage, and then you are attaining that particular loka of the deity. So Devayana is attaining the loka of a particular deity by doing this Saguna Upasana. Suppose that you are doing some Vishnu Upasana or Shiva Upasana or some other Devi Upasana, whatever it is. So that form of that God form which is there in your mind, you attain the loka or that particular state of consciousness. Let us say loka. What is exactly a loka? Loka is a particular state of experience. You have visualized, you have formulated your own opinion about a particular god or goddess, and then you are in that state of mind. So that is what is called a loka. Not that there is some sort of physical three-dimensional place somewhere in the skies. So that particular loka is attained by this Saguna Upasana. Nirguna Upasana is something totally different. We are not talking about Nirguna Upasana here. When you are in that Nirguna path, there is no question of loka, there is no question of again coming birth. So straight away the man is a Jivan Mukta, and after the person, after the body falls off, all these pranas, they just say go in, merge in the say cosmic prana. So that is what happens to and the Indriyas, they merge with the Pancha Mahabhutas. So that is what will happen. But we are now talking about not a Jnani, we are talking about a Karmi or a Upasaka. But in this particular mantra, we are not even talking about a Upasaka, we are talking about a Karmi. But just for your information, I am just telling you that there are two paths which we are also going to see in say Gita Bhashya. One is Devayana, which you are going to get through this say this Saguna Upasana. The other is called Pitruyana. Yana, what is Yanam? Yana is a path, Margam. So this is actually, in fact, if you see the Brahma Sutra Bhashya also, Brahma Sutra, there are two Putri, and there are a few Adhikaranas. There are a few chapters exclusively devoted for this. There is an Adhikaranam called Tadanantara Pratipatti Adhikaranam. Tadanantara Pratipatti Adhikaranam, that is third Adhyaya, the first, say the first Pada, the third Adhyaya, the first portion of the, say the third Adhyaya. So that is called Tadanantara Pratipatti Adhikaranam. Tadanantara means thereafter. What after? After what? After the fall of the body. Tadanantara Pratipatti means attainment. After the fall of the body, the self is attaining something. So that particular chapter is devoted to that discussion. Tadanantara Pratipattau Ramhati Samparishvaktaha. So that sutra says, Ramhati Samparishvaktaha Prashna Nirupanabhyam. That is what the sutra says. The meaning of that sutra is, when the body falls off, what is it that transmigrates? We know that there is what is called a Sthola Sharira. The Sthola Sharira has fallen off. Then what is it that transmigrates? It is the Sukshma Sharira. Although it is also called the Linga Sharira. Linga Sharira is constituting of the same Antahkarana, the same Indriyas, Antahkarana, Indriyas, and also the Pranas. All these things put together, that is the Sukshma Sharira. And this is what transmigrates, isn't it? So when this transmigrates, it is also, Antahkarana means it is also containing a large accumulation of all the samskaras which are built up over a period of time. This samskara or vasana, what you call it. So along with this baggage of karma, all these karmas have produced a samskara. All this baggage of karma and samskaras, all these things are going along with that antahkarana. So with that, what does it mean? If you have good samskaras, if your samskaras are channelized in such a way that in that Saguna Upasana, all your samskaras are channelized in that particular path, in that particular God form only. Upasana, Tailadharavatu Tulya Pratyaya Santatihi. So the continuous stream of consciousness in that particular path only. So if that is so, if that you have attained, your samskaras also will be like that. And then you are going to attain that particular loka. And then in that particular loka, because of the, say, good deeds which you have done here, you will attain moksha, you will attain realization, and then that is the path. That is the path for Saguna Upasana. Then for those who are doing this only on this karma path, so that is called the path of the, say, forefathers, Pitruyana. That is also called Dhuma Marga. Dhuma means, what is Dhumam? Dhuma is smoke. Because those who perform these yajnas, maybe metaphorically and also literally, those who perform yajnas, you have to sit in front of the smoke and then do all that havan. Say 2 days ago, I also performed some Chandi Yagam. So there I was sitting for about 3 hours doing that Yagam. So putting some havan and whatnot. So in that, so okay, all that thing, it comes and then all the smoke hits our face. So smoke of face also becomes black. It is only metaphorically I am saying. So that is called Dhumayana, because that smoke and all these things, it produces Dhuma. Maybe for that reason, say the Upanishads may be calling it Dhumayana, or maybe in a rather, say, disparaging tone, in a rather denigrating tone, that this is not a recommended path vis-a-vis the path of knowledge. Path of knowledge is what is recommended. The path of yajna, etc., that is not something which is recommended, but okay, a gruhastha can do it, it is permitted. It is permitted, it is not prohibited. It is permitted, but you do it with a nishkama. You do it not with so many desires and whatnot, you do just like that. You say, okay, you are a person, you are a sort of role model for the people. Your behavior will be watched by all others. If you say that you need not go to a temple, you need not do puja and all that, your own son will not follow you. So you have to follow certain code of conduct. So for all that, you do all that. So Pitru, but anyway, that the whole, the essence of it is, Pitruyana is also called Dhuma Marga. And that Dhuma Marga, it will take you to a particular loka. Dhuma Marga also will take you to a particular loka, but there is a return. In this Saguna Upasana, which is called Devayana, there is no return. Whereas in this Pitruyana, there is, you go to a particular Swargaloka or some such loka, you spend some time there and then you will come back. That again is discussed in another Adhikaranam, the next Adhikaranam. It is called Kruta Atyaya Adhikaranam. Kruta Atyaya. That is, Kruta Atyaya Adhikaranam is, that is for the pendency of karmas. In order to exhaust the pendency of karmas, you have to come back. There are certain karmas, good karmas, which have taken you to that Swargaloka. So it's something like a catapult which has catapulted you to that level. And then again the gravity pulls you back. So something like that, you have to come back in order to examine, in order to say answer all that pending karma. All that pending pendency of karma is there waiting for you. So in order to fulfill that, or in order to answer that, you have to come back. So that is the Adhikarana. So we are now in that context where a person returns, to that, returns to earth and then gets into somebody's womb. So that is the thing. So the context, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So this, let us read the Bhashyam. Yonim Yonidwaram Shukra Bija Samanvitas Santaha Anye Keshit Avidyavanto Modhaha Prapadyante Sharirattvaya Sharira Grahanartham Dehinaha Dehavantaha Yonim Pravishanti Ityarthaha. So Yonim Yonidwaram, the particular entry from where the human being comes out, human being or any animal comes out, the body, the womb of a female. Then Shukra Bija Samanvitas Santaha, the seed that is called semen. Shukram actually means semen. Shukram, it can be a female, it can be a human semen or an animal semen, whatever it is. Shukra Bija, the seed of that semen, Samanvita, along with that thing, they enter this particular Yoni Dwaram. Yoni Manye Prapadyante Samanvitas Santaha Anye Keshit Avidyavantaha Mudhaha Prapadyante. Avidyavantaha Mudhaha. So these are the people who have not bothered for this Vidya. Vidya is Upasana. Vidya, we are not referring to Brahma Vidya here. We are, okay, you can also refer to Brahma Vidya. There is no bar, because Brahma Vidya, if you take up, you will not even say that you go beyond that Devayana also. Devayana, the Pitruyana is a primary stage. Devayana is the second stage. Not having any yana and then getting that moksha straight away is that third stage. Not having either Pitruyana or Devayana. So that is what is the third stage. So here, these people are Mudhaha, Avidyavantaha. That is, that Dehatma Bhava is still there, that Samskara is still there, Jiva Bhava is still there. Jiva Bhava is, that is thinking that he is a Parichanna, thinking that he is a delimited person. So that Jiva Bhava, that is still there, that Samskara, that Samskara of delimitedness is very much there in this particular person. So that is why he is not realizing himself as somebody who is Aparichanna, somebody who is infinite. So that is why this person is called a Mudha, that Jivatva Samskara is still lingering in that man. So that is why they Prapadyante Sharirattvaya Sharira Grahanartham, in order to acquire a body. Sharirattvaya means in order to acquire a body. Sharira Grahanartham, because they think themselves as Aparichanna, they want to get into a body. So these people, they Dehinaha Dehavantaha Yonim Pravishanti, they enter the womb of a female. Then Sthanum Vrukshadis Sthavara Bhavam Anye Atyanta Adhamaha Maranam Prapya Anusanyanti Anugachanti. So then we are coming to the most inferior people, that is Atyanta Adhamaha. Atyanta Adhamaha, that is the most inferior people. What is happening to them? We are referring to those people who are only doing this yajnas. So we are not referring to criminals. Then what to talk of criminals? When you are referring to this yajna, a person who is performing yajna, Shankaracharya is calling him Adhama because he has neither gone to Sagunopasana, leave alone that Nirgunopasana, leave alone that Brahmavidya. He has not even followed that path of Upasana. So he has only followed the path of Karma. So Shankaracharya is calling them Adhama. So all our Pandit, all our Veda Pandits and all our say Somayajis and whatnot, they can be categorized as this Adhamaha. That is, they are not bothered about higher things. At least, then what to talk of all other people? What to talk of people who are engaged in Nishiddha Karmas? What to talk of people who are doing all ugly deeds? So then you are not even say talking about them. So, Anye, Atyanta Adhamaha, the most inferior people, what is happening to them? Then Sthanum, Vrukshadi Sthavara Bhavam, Maranam Prapya Anusanyanti Anugachanti. Vrukshadi Sthavara Bhavam. Sthavara means stationary. Stay. Sthavara is something which is stationary. Sthavara Bhavam, that state of being stationary. So, that sort of Bhavam, that particular state, they do attain. What is that state? Vruksha Adi. Some tree, some bush and some other plant or something like that, they attain that particular stage. Then, Maranam Prapya Anusayanti Anugachanti. Yatha karma, yad yasya karma, tad yatha karma, yaihi yadrusham karma, iha janmani krutam, tad vashena ityetat. So that is depending on the particular karma which these people have done. Yatha karma means depending on the karma or in accordance with the karma. The karma yaihi yadrusham karma iha janmani krutam. That is, in this particular janma you have done a particular karma. So according to that karma, these people they attain the birth. Then tathacha yatha shrutam yadrusham cha vijnanam uparjitam tad anurupameva shariram pratipadyante ityarthaha. Then yatha shrutam is shruti. Shruti actually means Veda. Then yatha shrutam is according to his own spiritual performance. After all, every man he does some yajna. While doing some yajna also, you come across mantras. You come across mantras at different levels. You can understand the mantra at a physical, an ordinary level. You can understand the mantra at an adhidaivika level. You can understand the mantra at the nirguna level also. So these mantras, they mean, say at the ordinary yajna level, there is an adhidaivika level. You can also understand the mantras at the nirguna level. So while doing this yajna also, some wisdom may dawn on a particular person. We have seen that in Gita Bhashya, in Shankaracharya, in one particular place, he refers, that is in the third adhyaya or somewhere, we read that Bhashyam, Sami Krute Vinashtepi Kame, while doing that Kamya Karma, in the process of that particular karma, Sami Krute, that is when it is semi-finished, Sami is semi-finished, when he is still in that process, he suddenly realizes that what he is doing, why the mantras which he is reciting, to speak of much nobler entity than the particular deity which he is talking about, than particular yajna which he is doing. So, Vinashtrepi Kame, the Kama gets destroyed. The Kama gets destroyed and then the wisdom dawns on him. So, that is also possible. So, this we are referring to this Yatha Karma Yatha Shrutam, Yadrusham cha Vijnanam Uparjitam. What that depending on the type of vijnana which is acquired by a person during his life. Yeah, vijnanam uparjitam. Tad anurupameva. Anurupam means accordingly. According to that, shariram pratipadyante. They attain that particular body. Ityartha. Yatha prajñam hi sambhavaha. Iti shrutyantarat. Okay. So, yatha prajñam hi sambhavaha. Sambhava means birth. Sambhavaha means births. Sambhavaha is birth. Sambhavaha is births. Yatha pragyam hi sambhavaha is Shrutyantarat. Where is this Shruti from? Any quotation given in you? Any reference in your book? No. So this book also doesn't give a reference. Okay, all the births are depending on Yatha pragyam, depending on the type of, depending on the level of maturity, level of that spiritual attainment. In that spiritual ladder, where exactly are you? Are you in the first step or second step or third step? Depending on that level, the person's birth also takes place. We have seen that in Gita Bhashya also, where he says, those who have done this, say this Brahmachintanam for quite some time, in this particular life, if you have not able to attain moksha, you will be born in the house of some yogis, where you will again, with that past samskara and then with all the accumulated force of that samskara, you will be able to attain jnanam in a much easier way. So something like that we saw in that Gita Bhashya also. So that yatha pragyam, he will attain birth. So then, yat pratignatam guhyam brahma vakshyami iti.
Yat pratignatam guhyam brahma pravakshyami iti.
Tadaha.
Tadaha.
Okay. Then in the next mantra we are going to see yat pratignatam guhyam brahma vakshyami. Guhyam brahma is, guhyam is that particular thing which is supposed to be very, very sacred, which is supposed to be very, guhyam actually means that which is in the guha. Guhayam sthitam guhyam. And also it means very secret. And then that is relating to this Atma. Guhyam Brahma. Two things are put in apposition. That is, Guhyam is something which is in the Buddhi Guha, that is that Atma, and that is the same as Brahma. Guhyam is the same as Brahma. So two ways you can take. One as something which is Gopaniyam, Guhyam, Gopaniyam, that which has to be considered a secret. In that manner we can take. The second meaning is Guhyam is that which is in that Buddhi Guha, that is your self, that self which is the same as Brahman. That is going to be told in the next mantra. So that is what he says. Let us read the mantra. Yayesha sukteshu jagarti.
Yayesha sukteshu jagarti.
Kamam kamam purusho nirmimanaha.
Kamam kamam purusho nirmimanaha.
Tadeva shukram tad brahma.
Tadeva shukram tad brahma.
Tadeva amrutam ashnute.
Tadeva amrutam ashnute.
Tasmin lokashritas sarve.
Tasmin lokashritas sarve.
Tadunatyeti kaschana.
Tadunatyeti kaschana.
Etadvaitat.
Etadvaitat.
Okay. Here we are going to see what is called this Sakshi. The concept of Sakshi is indicated here. We know that a human being or any living being is in three states of existence. One is this Jagrad Avastha, where you are able to interact with the whole world, and then all your senses are active, your mind is very active, and then that in Jagrad Avastha, actually all the sensory impressions are collected, collated, and processed and whatnot. Then there is what is called the Swapna Avastha. In that Swapna Avastha, the Indriyas, they do take rest. Indriyas means the sense organs. They do take rest. But the mind is still active. Mind means this Antahkarana. Antahkarana is full of vasanas. Vasana is that samskara. And this, depending on these samskaras, this Antahkarana is going to create its own world. Antahkarana creates its own world. The moment you go to bed, for some time, immediately you may not fall asleep, go into deep sleep. That's sushupti. You will not go into deep sleep. Slowly and slowly you will go into deep sleep. If you are a very lucky man, a fellow with a very clean mind, you may get into deep sleep also immediately, we cannot say. But then quite often, we also get a dream. So that means the Antahkarana, that is the mind, which is also a baggage of vasanas. So it is producing its own world depending on these vasanas. So that is the second level, the second state of experience, that is Swapna Avastha, the dream state as we call it. Then there is a third state where you are totally unaware of yourself. Even this Antahkarana takes rest. Antahkarana also takes rest, where these vasanas etc. they all subside. The Indriyas have taken rest, the Antahkarana also takes rest. You are in very deep sleep. Only after you wake up, then you say, okay, yeah, I slept very well, I did not know, I just didn't know anything. So that is the state of experience which you see. So you see there is what is called a Jagrada Avastha, where you are experiencing all these external objects. In fact, that Mandukya Upanishad calls it Bahish Prajnaha. Bahish Prajnaha means his say enjoyment. Enjoyment means he may not necessarily enjoyment, you may suffer also. Sometimes some unpleasant experience takes place, but you may have a bad experience. Whether it is a good experience or bad experience, all these things are broadly classified as enjoyment. Broadly called enjoyment, all the sensory experiences. So he is called a Bahish Prajna. All the external impressions or external experiences only coming through the sensory sense organs and also processed by the mind, person feels. So that is the state of wakefulness. The Swapnavastha is called Antah Prajnaha. Antah Prajnaha, that is, this experience is all something which is created or projected by his own mind. Whatever world he creates, there again there is a feeling of reality. You in the sleep, you are suppose in a very happy situation or in a very tense situation, or suddenly you wake up, suddenly you find in a very dangerous situation in the sleep, and then suddenly you wake up and then you rest assured that okay, you are only on your bed and not in that dangerous situation. So like this, that particular experience also is as real as the Jagrad experience. So that experience is another state of existence that is called Antah Prajna. Then the third stage, that is when you are in the deep sleep, there is not a Bahish Prajna, not Antah Prajna. You are totally withdrawn. The Antahkarana also is withdrawn, and that is what the Upanishad calls a Prajnana Ghana. He is just a mass of consciousness, which means what is that Upanishad indicating? Not only that Upanishad, but in several other places. What is it that is indicated? There is something called we have talked about this Chaitanya in two parts. That is Chaitanya which is mixed up with this Antahkarana, and Chaitanya which is associated with this Antahkarana and illuminating this Antahkarana. This Chaitanya which is mixed up with this Antahkarana, where we have called it Avachinna Chaitanyam, Antahkarana Avachinna Chaitanyam, which is Jiva. Then Antahkarana Upahita Chaitanyam, that is Jiva Sakshi, that is that which is illuminating this particular Chaitanya and then enabling it to interact with these things. So the same Chaitanya which is, and without that Upahita Chaitanya, this thing this Chaitanya is not able to interact with all of with the external objects. So this Chaitanyam which is the substratum or which is the base for the Jagrada Avastha is the same Chaitanyam which is there for the Swapna Avastha also. There is a Chaitanyam for this Jagrada Avastha. That Chaitanyam is illuminating your Antahkarana. This Antahkarana Vritti goes out, interacts with the Vishaya Chaitanya, that is the Chaitanya which is associated with the objects, and then the Chaitanya which is associated with the object, and Chaitanya with this associated with the mental process that is called Vritti, and the Chaitanya which is associated with this Antahkarana. All three meet. So that is what is the prakriya, or that is what is the process which is told. So when all these three meet, then you have the experience of an external object. So suppose I see a pen. So there is some Chaitanya associated with this pen, that is called Vishaya Vachinna Chaitanya, associated with that or mixed with that Vishaya or object. Then there is a Vritti Upahita Vritti Vachinna Chaitanya, that is associated with this. Vritti means that mental process. That is my mind going to that particular object. So that is again the Chaitanya. Then again that which is associated with my Antahkarana itself. So these three meet, and then that produces the experience in my mind. So for all this there is a substratum, there is a base called the basic Chaitanya, that is what is called Sakshi. Then so what happens in this in the case of a dream? In the case of a dream also, okay, this Upahita Chaitanya is very much there. The Sakshi is very much there. Sakshi is there, and then this Antahkarana along with its Vasanas. Antahkarana is having its own Vasanas, or this baggage, call this Samskara, Vasana, whatever you call. And with the help of these Vasanas, or depending on these Vasanas, or determined by these Vasanas, whatever way you can say, it produces its own world, it projects its own world. And that world is as real as the other world which you see in the Jagrada Avastha. So the substratum for that Jagrada Avastha is the same as substratum for that Swapna Avastha also. And in the Sushupti also, there is what is called say the Chaitanya. That Chaitanya is in that Prajnana Ghana shape, where there is no concept of Druk and Drushya, where there is no seer and seen. So but that consciousness is very much there. Otherwise, a person who wakes up, how will he feel that yes, I was very happy, I slept very happily. So that feeling of happiness is there. He is called Ananda Bhuk. One is called a Sthula Bhuk, that is he is he is enjoying the Jagrata Avastha, he is enjoying the Sthula Bhuk, that is the gross objects. One is enjoying the Sukshma things, that is Sukshma Bhuk, he is called. Sukshma Bhuk means he is enjoying the dream objects. So that is the Sukshma Bhuk. Then he is called, the third fellow is called Ananda Bhuk. He is happy. He is just happy. So that Ananda is a small part of that Brahmananda only. So there is a Chaitanya which is continuously present. That forming the substratum for all these three states. Jagrata Avastha it is there, Swapna Avastha it is there, and also Sushupti Avastha, the same Chaitanya is there. Whether it is a human being or any other being. Of course, we do not know about, say, how animals dream and whatnot. But human beings, they do dream, and then they, say, project their own world in the dream, depending on the vrittis, depending on the vasanas in the antahkarana. So that is what is mentioned here, that Chidabhasa, the role of that Chidabhasa or Sakshi, that is indicated here. So you see, Ya Esha Sukteshu Jagarti Kamam Kamam Purusho Nirmimanaha. Ya Purushaha, this Yaha, you connect it with this Purusha, Kamam Kamam Purushaha Nirmimanaha. Yaha Purushaha, the person who, then Yesha, Ya Yesha Purusha, the person who, Supteshu Jagarti. Supteshu means Pranadishu Supteshu, when all these pranas etc. are sleeping. When all these pranas, indriyas are sleeping, this chap is awake. Pranadishu Supteshu Satsu, it is called Sati Saptami. While all these things are asleep. Pranadishu Supteshu Satsu Jagarti. Jagarti means awake. He is awake. What is he doing? Kamam Kamam Nirmimanaha. This Purusha has come here. Yayesha Purushaha Supteshu Jagarti Kim Kurvan Kamam Kamam Nirmimanaha Jagarti. That is, as per his own wish, as per his own desire, he is creating his own world. This is something which is strange. They say, as per one's own desire, as per one's own will, he is creating his own world. In fact, if you see psychology, if you go to any textbook on psychology, there is a chapter, there will be some chapter on a person called Sigmund Freud. He was a German, say, psychologist of 20th century, early 20th century, Sigmund Freud. So this gentleman, he has written a many books on the dreams, analysis of dreams and things like that. There he also calls it dream is a wish fulfillment. Dream is a wish fulfillment. So of course he must have conducted many experiments, and then after so that is the say sum and substance of these experiments. So that dream, that theory of course is rejected by many others, but anyway that is what is suggested here, that theory of wish fulfillment suggested by Freud, and which is also rejected by some others, is something which is suggested here. Kamam Kamam Purusho Nirmimanaha. That is as per one's own desire. As per one's own desire means depending on the vasanas which are there in the mind. Because Sakshi is there, mere presence of Sakshi is not enough. That Sakshi is always there. Mere presence of Sakshi is not enough. The Antahkarana along with these vasanas has to be there. So that is the state of dream. So there, this depending on the type of vasanas, if there are good vasanas in a person, he may get some good dreams. If there are bad vasanas in a person, all bad dreams only will be coming. Or he is somewhere in the unconscious, he may be having some bad desires. So they will manifest at the time of, say, dream. So all these things take place. So Kamam Kamam Nirmimanaha, depending on his own desire, Yatha Kamam, depending on his desire, wish, he is creating a world. Tadeva Shukram Tad Brahma Tadeva Amrutam Uchyate. Tadeva. So in the first line you saw Ya Yesha Purushaha. You refer to one particular, in the masculine gender. Then here you have come to Tat. Tat means neuter gender you have come. Tadeva Shukram Tat Brahma. So that Purusha is Tat. That Purusha who is referred to in the masculine in the first line is referred to in the neuter gender in the second line. Tadeva Shukram. Shukram means Shuddham. Shukram, you see in the earlier mantra, Shukra Bija Samanvitaha. Shukra there referred to semen. Semen of the semen. But here that Shukram actually means Shuddham. Shukram, it is referred to the Brahman. Shukram is Shuddham, pure. In what way is it pure? Pure means there is no sense of any vasana in that. There is no vasana. When there is no vasana, something is pure. So something similar here also. So vasana, normally what do we mean by vasana? Vasana, the normal sense is smell. When something is not smelling, you say it is pure. So something like that. In a metaphor, in Vedanta, when we say Shukram, it is not having all these avidya vasanas. Vasana means like this raga, dvesha, kama, krodha and all these vasanas are there, which are there in this antahkarana. This particular say Shuddha Chaitanya or Sakshi Chaitanyam is something which is unaffected by that. Sakshi Chaitanya is called Upahita Chaitanya. That is, it is having antahkarana as an upadhi. It is not mixed up with the antahkarana. It is only having antahkarana as an upadhi. So that is why it is called a pakshi which is not eating the fruit. It is a pakshi. We also saw another metaphor earlier. What is that metaphor? There are two birds. Rutam pibantau purushasya lokech. There are two things. Rutam pibantau. There are two things. That is karma phalam. One is enjoying the karma phala, one is not enjoying the karma phala. So this jiva is something which is enjoying the karma phala. This sakshi is something which is just enabling this jiva to enjoy that karma phala. It is only an onlooker. So that is that sakshi. So that sakshi is that is called Shuddham Shukram Tat Brahma. That is that Brahma. In your own self, when you visualize as two parts. In fact, there are no two parts. You are visualizing, for the sake of analysis, you are visualizing two parts. One is that avachinna that is mixed up with that antahkarana. The other is that Sakshi Chaitanya. These two things, that Sakshi Chaitanya is what is called Brahma, not the Jiva. Jiva, of course, when it realizes that it is aparichinna, then it will become Brahma. Okay. Then Tad Brahma, Tadeva Amrutam Uchyate. Amrutam, that is eternal. This body may fall off, this antahkarana is a jada, this jadam antahkarana may fall off. Then this is Amrutam, this Chaitanya is something which is eternal. For this Chaitanya there is no birth, there is no death. It is always there. Then Tasmin Lokaha Shritaha Sarve. All these lokas. Loka, repeatedly we get the word. What is a loka? Loka is an experiential state. It is a state of experience. It is a state of experience. You are in Brahma Loka means you have done upasana about that particular Brahma. Brahma means I am talking about a Saguna Brahma. And then you are with that God form. You are in that state of awareness. You are in that state of experience. You worship some Rudra and then you are in that state of that Rudra. You worship some Vishnu and then you are in that state of some Vishnu. So it is an experiential state. So then what is this experiential state? That experiential state, so if you just analyze all these vrittis and whatnot, where what Upanishad says is that this antahkarana vritti also is a jada, isn't it? Jada means inert, insentient. Then this antahkarana vritti pravaha, which is again illumined by this Chaitanya only, this antahkarana vritti pravaha is producing, is enabling you to attain that state of consciousness, that state of awareness, isn't it? That again is a chitta vritti. And when you say that you are in some Satyaloka, or you are in Vishnu Loka, or Goloka, or some such Loka, that again is a bundle of chitta vrittis which are there, isn't it? That bundle of chitta vritti again is something which is insentient only, which is again illumined by that Chaitanya only. So this Chaitanya is something in which every Loka is, can be conceived. You call it Vishnu Loka, it is part of that Chaitanya. You call it Brahma Loka, it is part of that Chaitanya. You call it some other Goloka, it becomes part of that Chaitanya. So this Chaitanyam, or this what you call Brahma, what you call Brahman or Shuddha Chaitanya, is something in which all these lokas have to be conceived. There is no other loka, because all these lokas are only vritti, antakarana vritti only, isn't it? When somebody says he has gone, he is in that Brahmaloka, when you read some Puranic story, of course, you have to take it with a pinch of salt, in the sense that Puranic stories can sometimes be very dangerous. Sometimes can be dangerous if you do not know Vedanta. Unless you have the background of Vedanta and interpret that Puranic story with the background of Vedanta, it can be a very dangerous and misleading statement. So when you say that when somebody has attained some Brahmaloka, you have to take it in a metaphorical sense. You have to take it in that metaphorical sense. That loka is, he is in that experiential state. So that's all. So, tasmin lokaha shritas sarve. Loka, what is the etymological meaning of loka? Lokyate iti lokaha. Lokyate, that which is experienced, that which is looked at. The English word look probably is from related to this lok. Lokyate, that which is experienced, is what is called a loka. Tasmin lokaha shritaha sarve. Shritaha means ashritaha. They are dependent on that. All these lokas, all these states of experience, whatever you call, whatever state of experience, whether it is a Jagrada Avastha or Swapna Avastha or Sushupti Avastha or any other state of experience which you are getting as a result of some upasana, all these things are in that consciousness only. Tasmin lokaha shritas sarve. Tadu na atyeti kasyana. No one goes beyond it. Nothing goes beyond it. Because this consciousness is something which is there, in which everything is conceived. Everything is, say, imagined or visualized. So that is it. Tadu na atyeti kasyana. Na atyeti means na atyeti. None goes beyond it. None transcends it. Etad vaitat. This indeed is that. So that is the mantra. That is the meaning of that mantra. So let us see. Ya esha supteshu pranadishu jagarti na swapiti. Katham kamam tam abhipretam striyadhyartham avidyaya nirmimanaha nishpadayan jagarti purushaha yaha. Okay, we'll stop here. So, ya esha supteshu pranadishu jagarti na swapiti. Supteshu pranadishu. As I said, it is Sati Saptami. Pranadishu supteshu satsu. If you have you come across Sati Saptami in Sanskrit? Not yet. Okay. Pranadishu supteshu satsu means while the pranas, all these indriyas and all these things are asleep, are taking rest, then Yesha Jagarti. Yesha means this one, Jagarti. It keeps awake. Because this Antahkarana is a Vasanamaya Sharira. Vasanamaya is, Antahkarana is full of the Vasanas, as we just discussed. Naswapiti. It doesn't sleep. Katham. How? Kamam means as per the desire, as it wishes, and depending on the Vasanas which are there in that. Depending on the vasanas in that antahkarana, and as it wishes, it creates the whole dream world. Then tam abhipretam. Abhipretam means abhipraya is desire or wish. Tam abhipretam means whatever is desired, whatever is intended. Tam abhipretam. Striyadhyartham. Striyadhyartham is Stri Adi Artham. Striyadi is Stri Adi. You may imagine your dream girl. Actually, Stri Adi means actually that only Stri. You can imagine a Stri Adi. You imagine a woman, you imagine something else, Stri Adi Artham. So all these things you can imagine. All these things they can be got in a dream. Stri Adi Artham. Then how is it? Avidyaya nirmimanaha. Avidyaya nirmimanaha. This is all because of this avidya only. Avidya is not knowing your own, say, aparichinnatvam, not knowing your own aparichinnatvam and identifying yourself with the jiva bhava and having all these vasanas with you and inability to get rid of all these vasanas. All this is avidya only. Avidya is that inability to get rid of all these vasanas. This Vasana Kshayam, we have discussed in some other context. Vasana Kshaya is just getting rid of all these Vasanas, where Vidyaranya, Swami Vidyaranya talks about this very elaborately in the Jivan Mukti Viveka, Vasana Kshaya. So this inability to get rid of all these Vasanas is that Avidya. So Avidyaya Nirmimanaha. So he is building up all these things, Nishpadayan Jagarti Purushaha, Yaha, the one who does all this, Tadeva Shukram.
Tadeva Shukram.
Tat Shubhram Shuddham.
Shubhram Shuddham.
Tat Brahma Nanyat Guhyam Brahma Asti.
Tat Brahma na anyat guhyam Brahma asti.
So that which is there in this Swapnavastha, that which is there in that Swapnavastha, Tadeva, that itself, that only. Then what is it that we have seen in that Swapna? Swapna, you have seen a Vishaya. Vishaya means there is a Swapna dream object. And then there is an Antahkarana. There is something called a substratum for that Antahkarana. Then what is the base or what is the substratum for that dream object? For the dream object, your Antahkarana is the substratum, that is the base, isn't it? Depending on your vasanas, depending on this Antahkarana, you have created a world. Then what is the basis of this Antahkarana? The same Sakshi Chaitanya is the basis for this Antahkarana. So whatever is the basis, whatever is the base or substratum for the dream object is the base for this Antahkarana also, isn't it? So that itself is that Shukram Brahma. So Tadeva Shukram Brahma, that itself is say that Shukram, that is Shubhram. Shukram means Asanga. We have to take it as Asanga, that which is unassociated. This consciousness is something which is unassociated with that. It is not mixed up with Antahkarana. It is only enabling, it is illumining that Antahkarana. So Shukram, Shubhram, Shuddham. Shuddham means that Vasana Rahitam, where all these Vasana, this Raga, Dvesha, all these Vasanas are not there. Then Tad Brahma, that itself is Brahma. Na Anyat Guhyam Brahma Asti. There is no other Brahma whatsoever. That itself, whatever is the Adhishtanam for that dream Antahkarana, is that Brahma. Whatever is the Adhishtanam or substratum for the Antahkarana is that Brahman. So then Tadeva Nanyat Guhyam Brahma Asti. Tadeva Amrutam Avinashi Uchyate Sarva Shastreshu. So all the Vedantas, they tell that there is no other thing apart from this. Tadeva Amrutam Avinashi. Amrutam, that consciousness which is ever present. Your Antahkarana will die out, your Antahkarana will go, the body will go. All these things they may go, and all these experiential states, all these lokas will disappear. All the lokas also will disappear, isn't it? Loka is only a manifestation in your own mind. It is a sort of experience which is there in your own mind. You do a lifelong upasana, and after the fall of the body, this Sukshma Sharira, it stays in that particular state of experience for some time, and then say if it is a Saguna Upasana, it is in that state of experience, and there it attains moksha. If it is in this path, if it has gone in this Dhuma Marga means in the path of Yajna, etc., it goes to Swarga for some time, and there is a lot of pendency of all these works, karmas. So then again it returns. So this is what we have to see in this whole structure. So Tadeva Amrutam Avinashi Uchyate Sarva Shastreshu. So here what we have seen is whatever is the substratum for the mind is or Antahkarana is the same thing which is the substratum for the dream also. And that is what is called Sakshi. And there is no dream apart from this Atma. There is Atma is there, and that is why that dream, that Jagrata Avastha, all these things are there. Then Kincha Pruthivyadayaha Lokaha Tasminneva Sarve Brahmani Brahmani Ashritaha Sarvaloka Karanatvat Tasya. So in that Brahman itself, in that Brahman, all these lokas, including this Pruthivi, all these things are located in that thing only. Then Tadu Natyeti Kasyana Ityadi Purva Vadeva. So So that no one transcends. This line, Purvavadeva, is, we have got it earlier. Nobody goes beyond that. There is no experience which goes beyond that. So whether it is a Jagradavastha, Pruthivyadayaha. Pruthivyadayaha means, Pruthivi, what are the Adayaha? Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam, all these things, all these 7 lokas which we talk of. These are the lokas, these are the states of experience. This Bhuhu, Pruthivi, is something which you experience in this Jagradavastha. The other lokas, they are experienced in your dream, not exactly dream, in your upasana level, and then after the fall of the body. These are the bodies, and these are the lokas which you experience after the fall of the body. So all these lokas, they are located in this Brahman only. So that is the meaning here. Then there is a small avatarika for the next mantra. Let us read this. Aneka tarkika kubuddhi vichalitantah karananam.
Aneka tarkika buddhi bhava.
Tarkika kubuddhi.
Tarkika kubuddhi bhavitantah karananam.
Oh, your book says bhavita, na? Okay, this book says Kubuddhi Vichalita Antahkarananam. It doesn't matter. Kubuddhi Bhavita and Vichalita almost same. Antahkarananam Pramanopapannam Pramanopapannam api Atmaikatva Vijnanam Asakrut Uchyamanam api Anruju Buddhinam Brahmananam Chetasi Brahmananam Na adhiyate iti Tat pratipadane adaravati Punah punaha aha shrutihi. So he is giving an avatarika for the next mantra, where he says that Shruti is very, very kindly repeating the same message, that is Atmaikatvam. That is, Atma is one and one only. There are no multiple Atmas. So that is what we have seen earlier also. And this, the next 2-3 mantras also are going to say the same thing. So that is what Shankaracharya is saying. Adaravati, Adaravati means very kind. A person who is very, very kind. Adaravati, Punah punaha aha Shrutihi. Shruti is compared to Shruti Mata. Veda Mata we call it. Shruti is compared to the mother. Like the mother who repeatedly tells you what you have to do, what you should not do. Shruti is repeatedly saying. Of course, our contention, in fact, Upanishad, that is Veda, in our tradition, Veda is not something which is an order from God. Veda, we have to remember that Veda, unlike other religions, what do the other religions normally say? So this is an order of the Lord, this is an order from our God, you have to jolly well do that. So that is something like a sort of fascist approach, whereas Veda does not say that. Veda only says, this is telling like a mother. This Vedam is only saying that Shastram is something which is a Jnapakam and not Karakam. Karakam means that which directs a person to do a thing. Karayati. Karayati. You do this, you do this. So that is what it says, Karayati. So Vedam, this Upanishad is something which is, Shastram is something which is a Jnapakam, natu Karakam. So this statement Shankaracharya says several times. So this is our established, viewpoint. That is our established, what can we say? This is our approach. This is our approach to the Vedanta. We don't say, or Veda. We say that this is not, we don't say that this is an order from the God. You have to jolly well do this. We don't say that. So it only says, this is the commended path. This is the recommended path. Shamsati iti Shastram. There are 2 levels. Whereas in a yajna, you have to do this yajna, you have to do this in this particular manner. So long as yajna is concerned, there is a procedure. When it comes to the ultimate reality, it says, this is the ultimate reality. If you follow, you will do better, or you will attain moksha. If you don't follow, it is left to you. You just be contented with this, in this transmigrating cycle. You be happy with that. Nobody bothers about you. So that is what it says. If you want to follow, this is the highest truth. If you follow, you will become better. If you don't follow, you will continue in your samsara chakra. So that is what it says. So it is not a command. It is, Shruti is not commanding. It is in a way commending. Commending means recommending. It is only saying, yeah, this is what is you are supposed. This is what is good. You please do this. So that is why Shankaracharya is saying, Adaravati punah punah aha shrutihi. What is it saying? Aneka tarkika kubuddhi vichalitantah karananam. So he is talking about this tarkika kubuddhi. All these tarkikas, tarkika means logicians, those who say there are 6 systems of Indian philosophy, which we say Astika Darshanas. In that Astika Darshana, tarkikas are one. Tarkikas and also Sankhyas also they follow this Tarka only. They follow this Tarka procedure fairly elaborately. And in fact, on this particular word, Anandagiri has commented. Anandagiri has given an illustration. Illustration is, Shankaracharya has merely said, Aneka targika kubuddhi vichalita antahkarananam. He is referring to those people who are influenced by all these, say, bad propaganda of these tarkikas, like our pseudo-intellectuals today. Like our pseudo-intellectuals who talk about, who write all types of things about our dharma. So, he is talking about these tarkikas. He is talking about these tarkikas and the people who are influenced by the bad logic of these tarkikas. Tarkika kubuddhi vichalita antahkarana. Those whose antahkarana has been shaken by the false arguments of these logicians. So, that is what it means. Those whose antahkarana or whose mind or whose buddhi is shaken or disturbed or hijacked because of the false arguments of these tarkikas. So that is what that phrase, whole phrase means. Aneka tarkika kubuddhi vichalita antahkarananam. Well, then Anandagiri gives an example here. He quotes one Sankhya Karika. We know what is Sankhya. Sankhya is another system of philosophy. We know that Sankhya and Yoga, they are twin, they are called sister philosophies. They are Nyaya and Vaisheshika. Those two are sister philosophies. Then Sankhya and Yoga are sister philosophies. Then Purva Mimamsa and Vedanta. Vedanta is otherwise called Uttara Mimamsa. These two are called sister philosophies. So all these 6 are Astika Darshanas, that is, they accept the authority of the Vedas. Sankhyas also accept the authority of the Vedas. There is only some small minor differences here and there. The minor difference means that is, one is a dualist approach, one is a non-dualist approach. Advaita Vedanta goes to the Uttara Mimamsa talks about non-dual Brahman, whereas other people like Sankhya, they talk about duality. So, in this Tarkika Kubuddhi Vichalita, Anandagiri gives, he gives an example of the Sankhya people. Sankhya, it is one philosophy established by one sage called Kapila. I have told earlier. Kapila was the person who gave the Sankhya Sutras. And then on that, another gentleman called Ishvara Krishna, who was in 1st century BC, Ishvara Krishna, he wrote one book called Sankhya Karika. And Ishvara Krishna's philosophy was very, very influential at that particular time. In the 1st century BC, the doctrine or this philosophy of Ishvara Krishna, this Sankhya philosophy of Ishvara Krishna was very, very predominant at that particular time. So, in that particular thing, so he says, they talk about Purusha Bahutvam, that is Atma Nanatvam. The basic point which we are seeing here is, you have time or not?
2 minutes.
Only 2 minutes. Okay, then I will just briefly tell. Then I will tell about this Ishvara Krishna only. Ishvara Krishna, as the very name indicates, some of the Indian scholars, they feel that Ishvara Krishna's Sankhya philosophy had a lot of influence on the Christian doctrine of, say, Adam and Eve. Adam not eating the fruit of knowledge, Eve eating the fruit of knowledge. So this Ishvara Krishna also talks about this Prakriti and Purusha. And then these people, they also talk about these 2 birds which are there on the same tree. Of course, the Upanishad also talks. These people, the Sankhya philosophy, it suits that Sankhya philosophy where that duality is accepted. That is, one bird eating the fruit of knowledge, one bird eating the fruit and another bird not eating the fruit. So, Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya, that mantra is there in 2 Upanishads, that is in Mundaka Upanishad and also in Shvetashvatara Upanishad. So, this doctrine of Ishvara Krishna the Indian thinkers, Indian philosophers feel that it has a lot of influence on, say, the Christian doctrine also. Anyway, we leave it that. But here we are talking about the Atma Nanatvam. The Sankhyas, they believe, they think that all these Atmas, what we call self, they are totally different. You say, I am thinking of something. Say, I am born in a particular place and in a particular place and time. You are born in another particular place and time. So, Janma Marana is something which is totally different. I am born in a particular place, I die in a particular place. Somebody else is born in a particular place, somebody else dies in another particular place. It may be centuries, gap of so many centuries can be there. Then, for that reason, they say, and also for the reason that every human being or any being is a product of the mixture of these three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamo gunas. These sattva, rajas, tamo gunas, they mix in infinite combinations, and in those infinite combinations, infinite proportions, they mix in, you see, these three gunas, they can mix in infinite proportions, isn't it? So in all those infinite proportions, infinite number of people are produced. So for these two reasons, this Janma and Marana, they are unique, they are independent. One person is born in a particular time, place, another fellow is born in another Desha Kala Parichanna, then this fellow is predominantly Sattvika, another fellow is predominantly Rajasa, another fellow is predominantly Tamasa. So for all these reasons, there is Purusha Bahutvam. That is, Atma or self is something totally, there are too many, but not one. So that is what the Sankhya says. The line which is quoted by Anandagiri is, Janma Marana Karananam Pratiniyamat. This Janma and Maranam, this birth and death, they are totally different in the context of so many, all the people. In the case of every fellow, Janma is different, Maranam is different. Then Yugapad Apravruttesha, all people are not born at the same time and all people are not dying at the same time. Then Traigunya Viparyayatcha. This Traigunya is this combination of these three gunas. It can take place in infinite number of ways. Then because of all these things, Purusha Bahutvam Siddham. Purusha Bahutvam is that multiplicity of Atmas. That is something which has to be accepted. So that is what they say. Whereas Vedanta does not accept the multiplicity of Atmas. We have seen in Gita Bhashyam, we have seen here also in this Kathopanishad Bhashyam earlier, that Atmaikatvam is what is proposed. And the examples given are like the sun whose say light is falling on so many water bodies. The sun is the same, water bodies are totally different. So that is the example given. So that is what we are going to see in the next mantra. We will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.